Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Speaking Show.
Hey there! So great to have you with us today.
You have been speaking English for years, but sometimes two small words make you pause. Still or yet? That moment of doubt? So many learners face it.
That feeling is more common than you think, and today we fix it.
Because still and yet look simple, but they trip up even advanced English learners every single day.
By the end of this episode, you will know exactly when to use each one. No more guessing, no more pausing, no more doubt.
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with still.
So first, what does still actually mean?
Think about it like this. Still talks about something that started in the past and is continuing right now. It hasn't stopped.
It hasn't stopped.
Yes. Imagine you started a job 2 years ago. You're working there today. You can say, I still work there.
So you're saying it started and it's still going.
Exactly. And here's a simple way to remember it. Still means something is continuing. It's not finished. It's not over. It's still happening.
So still connects the past to right now.
Now, where does still go in the sentence? This is important.
Where does it go?
Before the main verb. Always. She still works there. He still lives in the same apartment.
And with is or are?
After be. He is still waiting. She is still here.
Before the main verb, after be. Simple.
And a mistake many people make, they say, she works still there.
The correct way, she still works there.
Still goes before the verb, not at the end, never at the end.
Now, still works in 3 ways. Let's go through them one at a time.
First way, positive. Something is continuing from the past to now.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine you started a job 5 years ago. You're still there today. You say, I still work at the same company.
You started in the past, and it's continuing now.
Exactly. Let's give you more examples so you can hear the pattern.
She still lives with her parents.
He still drives the same car.
They still meet every Friday for lunch.
See the pattern? Subject, still, verb. Something that started before and is still going.
Now, the second way, questions. You use still to check if something is continuing.
What do you mean by that?
Sure. Imagine your friend started a new project 2 months ago. You want to know if it's finished. You ask, are you still working on that project?
And there's a small hint in that question. It's been a while. You're a little surprised it's not done.
Right. Listen to these.
Do you still live near the city center?
Are you still waiting outside?
Are they still together?
See, you're always checking, is this thing still continuing, with a little surprise behind it?
I've definitely asked, are you still working on that to people at work without realizing what I was implying?
We all have. Now, the third way, and this one is really important.
What's the third way?
Well, still in negative sentences. This is where still carries something extra, not just information, a feeling.
What kind of feeling?
Surprise, frustration. Something should have changed, but it hasn't. Imagine you sent an important email 3 days ago. No reply. You say, they still haven't replied.
That's not just a fact. That's, why hasn't this happened? Something is wrong.
Exactly. More examples.
I still haven't heard back from them.
She still hasn't called.
We still haven't received the package.
See, every time there's a weight behind it. Something should have changed, it hasn't, and you feel it. Now, the grammar, super simple.
3 weeks ago, the tap in my kitchen started leaking, and I still haven't fixed it.
Jake!
My partner mentions it every single day. I am very aware.
But notice when Jake says, I still haven't fixed it, We feel those 3 weeks. It should be done. It isn't. That's the emotion still carries in a negative sentence.
It's not just, I haven't fixed it. It's, I really should have fixed it by now. The position is subject, still, main verb, or subject be, still.
For example, she still works. He is still tired. They still haven't called.
For A2 learners, just remember these common ones. Still works, still lives, still waiting, still hasn't, still can't.
Practice those first, then add more.
Okay, let's summarize quickly.
Still means something is continuing from the past to right now.
Use it in positive sentences, something keeps going.
Use it in questions, checking if something continues with a hint of surprise.
Use it in negatives, something should have changed, but it hasn't, and you feel it.
And remember, still goes before the main verb, after be.
Still means it's continuing. All right, now let's talk about yet.
What's the difference between still and yet?
Okay, so still is about something continuing. Yet is completely different. Yet means something is expected to happen, but it hasn't happened. We're waiting for it.
Something we're waiting for?
Yes. Imagine your friend promised to call you this morning. It's afternoon now. The call hasn't come. You say, she hasn't called yet.
So you expected it to happen, but it didn't happen.
Exactly. And here's something important about yet. It almost always goes at the end of the sentence. I haven't finished yet. She hasn't arrived yet. Always at the end.
And a mistake many people make, they put yet in the middle.
They say, I haven't yet finished.
The correct way, I haven't finished yet.
Now, yet works in two main ways. Let's go through them.
First way, negative. Something expected hasn't happened.
What kind of situation?
Imagine it's Sunday evening and you plan to call your family this weekend. You haven't done it. You say, I haven't called my family yet.
You expected it to happen, but it didn't. No frustration, no judgment, just not yet.
Exactly. Here is what it sounds like in different situations.
I haven't eaten yet.
He hasn't replied to my message yet.
We haven't booked the hotel yet.
See the pattern? Haven't or hasn't. Verb, yet. Calm, neutral, just reporting.
And not yet on its own, that's a complete answer in spoken English. Someone asks, have you eaten? You say, not yet. 2 words, done.
Try it. Not yet. That's a full, natural answer in English.
Now the second way, questions. You use yet to ask if an expected thing has happened.
How does that work?
Simple. Imagine your colleague was supposed to finish a report. You want to know if it's ready. You ask, have you finished the report yet?
And notice, that question is completely neutral. No pressure, no hint of impatience, just, has it happened?
Here's what it sounds like.
Has she arrived yet?
Have you spoken to the manager yet?
Has the package been delivered yet?
See? Always asking, has this expected thing happened? Completely neutral every time.
You know, I have a good one for this. I haven't replied to my friend's message yet. She sent it 2 days ago. I saw it. I just haven't found the right moment.
2 days, Ella.
I know, but notice when I say I haven't replied yet, it's calm. No big emotion. I'm just telling you it hasn't happened. It will.
Now the grammar, super simple.
The form is haven't or hasn't plus verb plus yet at the end.
For our viewers, practice these common ones first. Haven't finished yet. Haven't eaten yet. Hasn't called yet. Haven't replied yet.
Once you're comfortable with those, add more.
Now this is the part that changes everything.
What do you mean?
Still and yet can both appear in negative sentences. Same situation, but they feel completely different. Let me show you. Same situation. Your friend was supposed to call you an hour ago. Sentence 1, she hasn't called yet. That sounds calm, just waiting, no problem. Maybe she'll call in 5 minutes.
Neutral, no judgment. Now, sentence 2, she still hasn't called.
She still hasn't called. That feels completely different. That sounds like, why hasn't she called? Something is wrong.
Same situation, same grammar structure, completely different emotional message.
So when I use still in a negative sentence, I'm not just reporting, I'm expressing something.
Surprise, frustration, quiet impatience still tells the other person this should have changed and it hasn't.
And at work, you haven't sent the report yet. That's a neutral reminder.
You still haven't sent the report. That's pressure, almost an accusation, even if you didn't mean it that way.
So the wrong word sends a message you never intended without you even realizing it.
You know what's really interesting? Let's take just a moment to talk about why this confuses so many people.
What do you mean?
In many languages, one single word does the job of both still and yet.
In Spanish, todavía. In Arabic, lisa. In Filipino, pa. And many other languages work exactly the same way.
Exactly. English does need two words, and now that you know that, it gets much easier.
So friends, if you've been mixing these two up, don't worry. It's completely normal. Your brain was just using the rules from a different language.
Okay, let's summarize quickly.
Yet means something is expected, but it hasn't happened. We're waiting.
Use it in negative sentences. Something expected hasn't happened. Calm and neutral.
Use it in questions, asking if an expected thing happened. No pressure behind it.
And in negative sentences, still carries emotion, yet stays neutral. That difference matters more than any grammar rule.
So remember, still means it's continuing. Yet means it hasn't happened, but you're waiting.
So we have discussed about still and yet. Now let's solidify the learning with a quiz.
5 questions. We will give you a sentence and you decide, correct or wrong.
And we will explain every answer. Don't worry, this is just for practice. No stress.
Ready? Here we go.
Question 1. Listen carefully. She yet works at the same company.
Correct or wrong?
Wrong. Yet cannot replace still in a positive sentence, ever.
The correct sentence, she still works at the same company.
Remember, if something is continuing, the word is always still. Yet is impossible in positive sentences.
Question 2. I haven't booked the tickets yet.
Correct or wrong?
Correct. This sentence is perfect.
Why is it correct? Because something expected hasn't happened, and yet is at the end of the sentence where it belongs.
Great job if you got that one right.
Question 3. I haven't yet replied to her message.
Correct or wrong?
Wrong. Yet is in the wrong place.
The correct sentence, I haven't replied to her message yet.
In spoken English, yet always goes at the end. Putting it in the middle sounds unnatural, like a formal document, not a real conversation.
Great job if you spotted that one.
Question 4. My colleague asked if the report was ready. I said, not yet.
Correct or wrong?
Correct.
Not yet is a complete natural answer in spoken English. 2 words, done. No need to say anything else.
Well done if you chose correct.
Last question, question 5. I still haven't finished yet.
Correct or wrong?
Wrong. Both words are doing the same job in the same sentence. That's 1 word too many.
You have 2 options. If you want to give neutral information, I haven't finished yet. If you want to show frustration, I still haven't finished. Not both together.
Always choose one, still or yet. Never both in the same sentence.
Okay, how many did you get right? Tell us in the comments. 1 out of 5, 2, 3, 4, or perfect score.
If you made mistakes, that's completely normal. That's exactly how we learn.
The important thing is you are thinking and practicing.
Now we're going to look at the most common mistakes people make with still and yet and how to fix them.
This will help you avoid them.
All right, now let's talk about the most common mistakes people make with still and yet.
These are mistakes we hear all the time from English learners.
And honestly, we have seen these same mistakes so many times, so don't feel bad if you recognize yourself here.
That just means you are learning.
Mistake number 1, using yet instead of still in a positive sentence. Many people say, she yet works at the same company.
The correct way, she still works at the same company.
Yet can never replace still in a positive sentence. If something is continuing, the word is always still, no exceptions.
Mistake number 2, putting yet in the middle of the sentence. Many people say, I haven't yet finished the report.
The correct way, I haven't finished the report yet.
In spoken English, yet always goes at the end. Middle position sounds stiff and unnatural in conversation.
Mistake number 3, using both still and yet together. People say, I still haven't finished yet.
The correct way, choose one, I haven't finished yet, or I still haven't finished.
Both words are doing the same job. One is enough. Two together sounds redundant.
Mistake number 4, putting still at the end of the sentence. People say, she works still there.
The correct way, she still works there.
Still always goes before the main verb. It never goes at the end. The position matters.
Mistake number 5, using still in a negative sentence when you actually mean neutral. You want to give a calm update. You say, they still haven't replied.
But to the other person, that sounds frustrated, maybe even accusatory, when you just meant, we are waiting, no big deal.
The correct choice, they haven't replied yet. Neutral, professional, no unintended emotion behind it.
So, before you use still in a negative sentence, ask yourself, am I actually frustrated or am I just giving information? If just information, use yet.
Friends, these 5 mistakes are super common. Even advanced learners make them.
So if you recognized yourself in any of these, that is completely okay. That is exactly how learning works.
Write in the comments, which of these mistakes have you made?
Now let's put everything together in a real conversation. Jake and I are colleagues. It is Thursday afternoon. We have a big deadline tomorrow.
Listen carefully. Count how many times you hear still and yet.
Ready? Here we go.
Hey, Ella, have you sent the client proposal yet?
Not yet. I am still working on the numbers. Should be done in an hour.
Okay, no problem. Has the client confirmed the meeting yet?
I haven't heard back yet. I sent the email this morning. Still waiting.
And the budget report. Is finance still reviewing it?
Yes, they are still going through it. They still haven't given us the final numbers.
That has been 3 days now.
I know. I still cannot believe how long it is taking. I have followed up twice already.
Have you spoken to the manager yet?
Not yet. I wanted to wait for the finance numbers first.
That makes sense. Well, we can still fix everything before tomorrow.
I haven't given up yet.
Neither have I.
Okay, did you catch them all?
Let's go through them together.
Have you sent the client proposal yet? Yet in a question. Neutral. Just asking if the expected thing happened.
I am still working on the numbers. Still positive form. Something continuing right now. Hasn't stopped.
I haven't heard back yet. Yet, negative. Expected thing hasn't happened. Calm. No frustration. Just reporting.
They have still not given us the final numbers. Still negative. 3 days now. The frustration is there. We feel it.
I still cannot believe how long it is taking. Still carrying real emotion, surprise, quiet impatience.
I haven't given up yet. Yet, negative. But notice, this one feels almost positive. Still going, still trying.
See how natural it sounds? We were not thinking about grammar, it just flowed.
And friends, this is how you will use it too once you practice.
Now we are going to help you build your own sentences.
We will give you a pattern and you fill in your own words. Say it out loud. Do not just think it.
Ready? 3 patterns.
Pattern 1. Something continuing. The structure, I still blank every day.
My example, I still walk the same route to work every morning.
My example, I still drink coffee from the same mug I bought 10 years ago.
Now you. Think about something in your life that continues from the past to now. I still blank every day. Say it out loud.
Pattern 2. Something expected but hasn't happened. The structure, I haven't blank yet.
My example, I haven't replied to my friend's message yet.
My example, I haven't booked my summer holiday yet.
Now you. Think about something you plan to do but haven't done. I haven't blank yet. Say it out loud.
Pattern 3. Frustration or surprise something hasn't changed. The structure, I still haven't blank.
My example, I still haven't heard back from the company I applied to.
My example, I still haven't fixed the leaking tap in my kitchen. 3 weeks now.
Jake, please fix the tap.
This weekend, I promise.
Now you. Think about something that should have happened by now but hasn't. I still haven't blank. Say it out loud.
These are your sentences now about your life.
Use them when you speak English with your friends, your colleagues, your family.
The more you practice speaking, the more natural it becomes.
All right, friends. So today, we learned about still and yet.
Still means something is continuing from the past to right now. She still works at the same company. He is still waiting.
Still goes before the main verb or after be. And in negative sentences, it carries emotion, surprise, frustration. Something should have changed, but hasn't.
Yet means something is expected, but it hasn't happened. We're waiting. I haven't finished yet. Has she arrived yet?
Yet always goes at the end of the sentence in spoken English, and in negative sentences, it stays neutral, just reporting, no emotion behind it.
And the most important thing to remember, in negative sentences, still and yet feel completely different. She hasn't called yet, calm. She still hasn't called, frustrated.
So remember, still means it's continuing, yet means it hasn't happened, but you're waiting.
Friends, if this felt like a lot today, don't worry. These 2 small words take time. Even advanced learners get them wrong sometimes.
The important thing is you are aware now, and awareness is the first step to speaking naturally.
Now here's your challenge for this week.
Think about something in your life right now, something that is continuing or something you haven't done yet.
Write it in the comments. For example, I still haven't called my parents this week, or I haven't tried the new restaurant near my house yet.
Any sentence, any situation, something real from your life. We read every single comment.
And say it out loud before you write it. Don't just think it, actually speak it.
If this episode helped you, please subscribe to the English Speaking Show. We have new episodes every week. Practical English for real life.
Thank you so much for learning with us today.
You now understand still and yet, and that is a big step. Well done.
See you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.